Hello, good to have you on the program. Of course, it still remains the economy today, and we are here again to ensure that we reach out to you in the best of forms. Okechukwu Onubogu here, and this day we have a discussion to come along with it. I'm talking about the fact that we look around and we see the vicinity, the scenery all around us. There are certain factors that make it that these places all around us are made beautiful and things like that. And that's the kind of thing that is referred to as horticulture. And this day we'll be talking about horticulture. Looking at the topic we have for today, it will also give you an insight of what we're talking about. Horticulture and the economy. We want to find out what has to do with that. And then we want to say the relevance of horticulture to the economy. This is the point we will look at on a serious note this day. I didn't go out to get ordinary people to talk about that. I went out to get professionals to discuss this matter with me on the program today. I do have two people, incidentally, two special people who will be talking discussing this topic with me today on the program. I have Sampraise Itomo. Sampraise Itomo is a well-known face on the station. He is a horticulturist, and of course I say he is a man with so many caps. And so today we're branching into one of his fields, and that's why he is here on the program today as a horticulturist. We'll talk and discuss horticulture. And then again, I also have someone that is also a horticulturist, but then he is a botanist. So he will also help us talk about all those things. You know, when we want to talk about botanical names of some animals and some plants, mainly plants this time because we are discussing horticulture. We will be getting it from him. He is Benjamin, and he is Benjamin Nwankwo. But I will show you these faces and we will talk with them. But before we go on to talk with them, I want to look at what we have in the money market. Then after money market, we'll return. But don't forget, we still have our business news as well as the other one, that is news beats. We have these will come in the course of the program. Welcome again. Money market now. Yes, on the money market, it closed on a mixed note last week as system liquidity improved, supported by elevated standings deposit facility, that is standing deposit facility, SDF rates. The open repo rate, that is OPR, and remained unchanged at 24.50%, while the overnight O/night rate aged up by 3 basis points to 24.86% week on week. On a month-on-month basis, the OPR held steady at 24.50%, whereas the O/N rate dipped slightly by 6 basis points from 24.92% in the previous month. Meanwhile, the secondary market witnessed a bearish tone as average benchmark yields across most segments edged higher. The Nigerian Treasury Bills (NTB) segment saw its average yield rise by 8 basis points to 17.47%, compared with 17.39% the previous week. Similarly, yields in the open market operations, that is the OMO segment, increased by 5 basis points, settling at 21.43% from 21.38% week on week. On a monthly basis, performance was mixed, with average benchmark yields declining by 39 basis points in the NTB segment, but rising by 43 basis points in the OMO segment, reflecting short-term liquidity adjustments within the market. In the currency market, the Naira recorded broad-based gains across both the official and parallel markets last week, closing with a spread of 18.25 Naira per US dollars. In the official market, the local currency appreciated by 255 basis points to close at 1,421 naira 0.73 kobo per dollar, per US dollar, while in the parallel market it strengthened by 278 basis points to 1,440 naira per US dollar from 1,480 naira per US dollar the previous week. On a month-on-month basis, the naira also appreciated by 377 basis points and 313 basis points in the official and parallel markets, respectively, from 1,475 naira 35 kobo per US dollar and 1,483 naira per US dollar in September. The appreciation trend reflects improved FX inflows and moderated speculative demand as monetary authorities sustain policy measures to stabilize the market. On the FGN bond market, after 5 consecutive weeks of bullish trading, the federal government of Nigeria FGN bond market turned bearish, with the average benchmark yield rising marginally by 2 basis points to 15.77% from 15.76% in the previous week. Yields on short and mid-term ends of the curve advanced by 6 basis points and 2 basis points to close at 16% and 15.87% respectively, while the long end of the curve remained flat at 15.5%. However, on a month-on-month basis, the bond market maintained a bullish undertone as yields declined across all tenors. The short, mid, and long-term maturities dropped by 38 basis points, 46 basis points, and 39 basis points respectively, a reflection of sustained investor interest in long-dated instruments amid expectations of easing inflationary pressures and stable monetary outlook. And we're still going on to look at some of the things that we have there. Well, there are interbank treasury bills yields as well as interbank offered rates. But we'll just let those be for right now, because we want to get on to face the discussion proper. And as we talk, we'll get to bring out all the things that have to do with the matters of the moment. Don't forget that our news beat will still be here this day, as well as news from the business news will still come your way on the program. And right now, I want to say thanks for being there. We're still on, going on. And I've got 2 gentlemen, as I did say earlier, that are here already with me, who will be talking and we'll be discussing this topic that I have said that we have for the day. And that's what you see. And we keep seeing it on the screen. The topic for the day has to do with the economy and horticulture. Right. And we want to find out the relevance. Right away, let me introduce Sampraise Itomo. Sampraise Itomo is a horticulturist. I said he's a man wearing so many caps, but today let's use the cap of horticulture. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Okechukwu. Wonderful viewers out there. Welcome. God bless you.
All right. Next is that we also have someone else who will help us talk. I said this one happens to be someone that has a lot more too, but then we're taking something from him from the horticultural side of life. He is Benjamin, and the surname is NWAFOR. Benjamin Nwankwo, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. And what we want to do today is to discuss the things that have to do with horticulture, as it is the topic for today. We want to say horticulture and the economy. What relevance it is. Let me begin first of all by asking, because someone may be staying at home and watching and saying, please, what is horticulture? Who can help us with it first of all? What is horticulture? Ben?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Wonderful viewers out there. Thank you for having me. First of all, horticulture is the science or art of cultivating plants, flowers, is a branch, so to say, of agriculture. Horticulture comes from the Latin word hortus and cultura. Hortus meaning garden and cultura meaning cultivation. That is the cultivation of garden.
Okay. Thank you so much. Of course, that is he said is the art and science of doing this. Okay. And that's talking about it picking it from the one that's a botanist. So he has a deeper knowledge of this, I must say. Thank you so much for sharing it. Now, of what value do you think horticulture is to the economy? What relevance do you think it has? I want to ask you Sampraise. Looking at horticulture, do you believe that there is something it offers even the economy?
Yes, very robust contribution, because even now, Abuja happened to be the biggest market for plants when it comes to all these ornamental plants, economic trees. You know, they have different segments of the horticulture as a profession. So you have indoor plants, for instance, outdoor plants, you have the grass families, you also have the economic trees, and all of them put together, like Benjamin said. Horticulture is a big branch of agriculture at large. So right now, because of the soil texture Nigeria is blessed with and the Nigerian ecosystem, so it's so easy for plants to be nursed and grow here. Just very few plants in the flower industry that we import right now. 80% of the plants are homegrown, where we source for 20%, places like US, South Africa, Ghana here. So we source for some of those ones. Even there are some that you can only nurse in Jos, in Plateau State, because of the favorable weather there, like some of these roses and ornamental plants. So do you know that as we speak, even some countries outside Nigeria, in fact from Europe and some countries in Africa, they come to Nigeria to get their plants. And like I said, Abuja is the biggest market of all the plants being grown in Nigeria.
Abuja is the largest place where you have these plants in Nigeria.
Yes, nationwide.
Okay.
The biggest horticulturist or flower
we'll be
people.
seeing some of these flowers, you know. Go ahead, let's go on.
The biggest flower producers in Nigeria are all in Abuja.
Okay.
Yes, so most of the state governors, like Akpabi, when he was governor of Akwa Ibom State, he was sending trailers to Abuja to carry his plants, and most of these state governors across the country, they do same. They send in their trailers to Abuja, and you know, it's a growing discussion. So maybe, like you said, is there any role the horticulture ecosystem is contributing to the Nigerian economy? So I'm just giving you a little resume from that preamble statement. You know, so that's what I can say at the moment, because I know we are still progressing. Okay.
We'll still look at a whole lot more as far as that is concerned. We'll still share. Would you want to add something to that before we get on to other things? Ben?
Yeah. Adding to what he just said, Abuja has the largest market as far as Africa is concerned. And currently we have customers from Niger, Chad, you know, coming to take up plants from
Nigerian.
So it is a very large market. And looking at the branches of horticulture itself, we have pomology, which deals with the cultivation of fruits and nuts. We have olericulture, which is dealing with vegetables. We have
sorry, let me get back to you again. You said olericulture.
Yes, olericulture.
That one deals with what, please?
Vegetables.
That's what we eat.
Yes.
Okay.
Lettuce, tomatoes, and other.
Okay, lettuce, tomatoes, and all. Okay, these are part of it.
Exactly. So, and then we still have floriculture, which is what we know basically as gardens around. So, and then we have landscape horticulture, which deals with the use of plants and flowers to, you know, beautify the outdoors And then we have arboriculture, which deals with trees, and then viticulture, which has to do with grapes in terms of wine production.
Okay, when it's with trees, it is called arboriculture.
Yes.
And when it is grapes, you call it another name.
Viticulture.
So why is single grape out of the entire thing?
You know, wine production is a very large.
Okay,
market.
because that leads to wine.
Yes.
Okay.
Leads to wine. So talking about the economy now, if we can, let's say, double into that part of the horticulture.
Yes.
You know, production of wine, we can actually produce wines made from Nigeria and then export them to various countries. It will actually boost the economy, because what I know that boosts an economy is production.
Yes.
Yes, if you can't produce anything, then your economy will be in shambles.
So are you telling me now that Nigeria can effectively produce wines that would be not only consumed here but even exported? That is wines of quality, because quality is the thing that is required when you're talking about export. Can we have such things in Nigeria?
Of course, there is the market is so vast that there's nothing we cannot do as far as we put our strength to it. It's a matter of commitment and then, you know, the willingness to do what exactly you want to do. If we can, you know, have a kind of grape plantation and then import the machines that can help us produce those wines, in a matter of time, Nigeria will be one of the best wine producing countries in the world.
Really?
It's achievable.
Because I know that there are some Nigerians who sell wines, and most of the wines they sell are from outside the country, and they make people to tell us that these wines are wonderful and great, even expensive, you know. And I keep wondering, but some years back, many years ago, there used to be a lady I knew, or God rest her soul, she's gone to the great beyond now. She was producing wine. Whenever you come to her home, because her husband was an associate of mine then, whenever we came to her home, she always gave us wine. And when we would drink, she would say, the man would say, "This is my wife's product," you know. It tasted well, but you know, since after her demise and even the demise of her husband, we've not heard anything about that wine anymore. I say, oh my God, does it mean the thing died with her?
Industry closed.
Yeah. So, and I was wondering, and I've not really seen other places where they say that this wine is Nigerian wine and all that. But since you're saying it, it means good money can come out of it. They can make effective input to the economy. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Of course. You know, I think it's time we start accepting what belongs to us. We have to accept ourselves.
Yes, it's time we started accepting them.
Nigeria is a country where we have a lot of potentials. You know, talking about horticulture, when we talk about landscape horticulture, it is a business, a department of this horticulture that, you know, we are yet to understand and comprehend.
Okay.
Recently, I am aware that it's now treated as a course in the Uni Abuja.
Okay.
They have a department for that, which is under agriculture. That's a very bold and good step, because, you know, we that are the practitioners, the landscape horticulturists, are not treated the way we should be treated. We are not given the conducive environment to practice. You can see with the irrelevant and indiscriminate demolition of so many flower gardens in Abuja, you know, without actually thinking about the economic values of these plants or the environmental impacts,
as well as the health implications.
Yes, it's heartbreaking, you know. And these demolitions are being done by people who are aware of some of these benefits, you know, of plants mopping up carbon dioxide and then the giving off of oxygen. We all know how expensive it is for us to get oxygen from the hospitals, but these plants give us free oxygen, and we end up demolishing these plants without thinking about what becomes, you know, of us when these things are being eliminated.
Okay.
environment.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will still continue with this, Mr. NWAFOR. We will still continue with this, and Sampraise, we'll still continue with this. But right away, let's take it from the business news. We will return.
Which has made going to the farm a bit unsecured, but that gap is being filled by mechanized production.
Food, one of humanity's basic necessities, has in the recent years faced a worrying decline due to insecurity and logistic challenges across Nigeria. To address these concerns and boost food production, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ACCI, in collaboration with other partners in the agricultural sector, is advancing smart agricultural mechanization and innovative technologies as it unveils the Farm, Food and Allied Technology FarmFartech initiative.
FarmFartech 2025 will showcase cutting-edge agro-mechanization technologies, food processing solutions, and value chain innovations, creating a unique platform for stakeholders to explore investment opportunities, forge partnerships, and catalyze business growth in Nigeria's agricultural sector.
Organized through the Chamber's Agriculture Trade Group, the Expo seeks to promote investment, partnerships, and agribusiness across the country, driving organic agricultural practices that strengthen food sovereignty and national food security.
This year we are trying to deal with that issue by bringing in experts to talk about contract farming. How do we finance contract farming? That is including production of seeds. Tractors now can be hired. We have tractor hirers that are getting to the rural areas, being trained by us, being trained by NCAM to provide services in rural remote areas where there are lands but no ability to mechanize. At FarmFartech this year, we are getting Organic Farmers Association live. We support organic growth. Not that we are not against GMO, but we are not promoting GMO.
The 3-day event will host over 500 exhibitors, representatives from 76 countries, and an estimated 500,000 visitors, making it one of Nigeria's largest agricultural innovation platforms. All from Stephen, Captain TV News.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project said it has filed a lawsuit against the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, over their alleged failure to investigate claims that lawmakers pay up to 3 million naira to sponsor or present bills, motions, and petitions at the National Assembly. The rights group said the suit followed a viral video in which Ibrahim Auyo, a member of the House of Representatives representing Jigawa State under the All Progressives Congress, alleged that members pay between 1 million naira and 3 million naira to table legislative items. Sarab disclosed this in a statement made available to newsmen. And the suit number FHC LCS 2214-2025 filed last week at the Federal High Court, Abuja, Serap said it is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel Mr. Akpabio and Mr. Abbas to refer to appropriate anti-corruption agencies for investigation and prosecution of the allegations of 3 million naira bribe for bills at the National Assembly. The organization maintained that lawmakers should not have to pay bribes to perform their legislative duties, stressing that such practices undermine Nigerians' democratic rights and mock the intent of Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution, which empowers the National Assembly to make laws for the country.
Participants at the summit receive hands-on training in coding, app and product design, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, digital marketing, and data analytics, with a focus on entrepreneurship and digital job creation. So many, including this Niger Delta Youth Technology Summit, forms part of ongoing efforts by both federal and state governments to promote peace, innovation, and socio-economic growth through digital literacy and youth inclusion in the region. In his welcome address, Comrade Omote Idigu Kelly commended the Delta State government for its commitment to youth empowerment and inclusive governance.
There are a lot of opportunities in technology, and the way the life is today, globally, technology has taken over everywhere. Every sector of government, every phase of life, technology has taken over everywhere. And I urge my people, they should shun cybercrime, and there are a lot of benefits from technology. The time wasted in the sleepless night they get in doing the cybercrime, they can actually invest those time in other opportunities in the technology aspect of it.
The Delta State Commissioner for Youth Development, Barrister Trakirio Harry Tangod, urged youth to embrace innovation, creativity, and digital entrepreneurship as tools for self-reliance and national development.
They've done extremely well, because I think this is one of its kind, bringing the youth together to teach them how to go in terms of technology that is thriving presently in the whole world. I think is commendable. My advice to our youth across Delta State is for them to key in deeply to this program so they can be able to benefit and become a master of their own.
On his part, Comrade Idigu Kelly, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth Development, said the initiative was designed to prepare the region's youth for digital economy by equipping them with right skills and mindset.
At the very least, the people will go with two things. They will know what they need to do, and they will know how they need to do it. And that will help reduce, there's so much reliance nowadays on Yahoo and all those things, or G-Boys. We are now looking at alternatives, things that people can make money with on the internet, and you can travel abroad.
What the SSC did now, I think is a semblance of our youth in the state. They should copy from it. That's what I mean by semblance. They should copy from it. He has been able to bring these resource spaces together on behalf of the state government, representing the government in this capacity, to bring youth together and to ensure that they are being carried along in the IT space. And I believe there's a take-home for everyone, including me as a resource person. I was able to put down some things that will help my personal life.
Stakeholders at the event described the summit as a timely intervention aimed at redirecting the energy of young people from social vices to product ventures, especially in the digital space.
I was really interested in the cybersecurity class that we had. There were a lot of things that I thought I knew that I didn't really know, and so it was an eye-opener and it was very educative.
Today's program is so rich because a lot of people have the time to learn what they need to know about the current trends in the whole wide world today.
By making use of the new methods of technology, both in agriculture and both in our own safety method, just like cybersecurity and ethnical hacking, so it helps us present our own things that we are doing and everything.
We have learned a lot about the advancement of technology and its usefulness. Likewise, we learned about the cybersecurity, we learned about the product management and so many things which we have benefited from it. And we give thanks to the government of Delta State for giving us this precious opportunity to learn so much such advancement.
The event team, Harnessing Technology for Sustainable Development in Niger Delta region, brought together government officials, private sector leaders, and young innovators from across the region to explore how technology can drive inclusive growth and sustainable development.
The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, has urged Nigeria's banking sector to finance the ideas of young Nigerians so that they do not resort to ecosystems outside their control. Edun stated this at the 2025 investiture ceremony of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria held at the Wole Soyinka Center for Culture and Creative Arts, where he was bestowed with a honorary fellowship of the institute. The deputy governors in charge of the Corporate Services and Operations Directorates of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Usoro, and Dr. Bala Bello, respectively, were honored as honorary fellows of the CIBN. The CBN Director, Strategy and Innovation Management, Monsurat Vicent, was also recognized as an honorary senior member of the CIBN. The Finance Minister commended the Central Bank of Nigeria under the leadership of Olayemi Cardoso for its monetary policies, which he said have helped to stabilize the economy. The Group Managing Director of the United Bank for Africa and Chairman of the Body of Banks CEOs, Oliver Alawuba, in his comments at the investiture said the demand for foreign exchange amongst customers has dropped significantly due to CBN policies. Also, the Plateau State Governor, Caleb Mofang, in his goodwill message, appealed to the Bankers Committee and financial institutions to support efforts aimed at boosting food production and reducing inflation in the country.
Thank you so much for being there and seeing what we've got on that from the business news. Well, we'll still continue. We still have our newsline, news bits, of course, but let's take a bit more of our talk before we return to that. And I still have Sampraise Itomo, horticulturist, as my guest, as well as Benjamin Nwankwo, botanist, who is also into horticulture anyway. And so we are looking at the importance of horticulture and the economy, the relevance. Horticulture and the economy, the relevance. And so relevance is the word. And there are certain revelations, I must say, that Benjamin brought forth, talking about the fact that looking at the wine industry, that a lot more can come from it. And of course, it would impact on the economy very positively and effectively. Because I know that there are wines that are brought from abroad and from South Africa, from Britain, from these other foreign countries where they get to have this, from Denmark, and these wines are not cheap. So we can do something within our country to make the difference. So why can't we do it? Why are we not doing it? Why is it not happening? What do you think is the reason for which it's not happening? Sam, or do I continue with him? Well, let me ask you first, then before he will continue.
All right. The Nigerian government and their economic policies are behind what you just asked. Why is not happening? Because when you produce an enabling environment, or like what we call talent hunts, for instance, and one of my guys actually started something in Game Village here, among the Game Village residents. So he just came up with that proposal to just use the buffer zones within the ecosystem there. So he took me to show me someone that planted grapes behind his house. There are types of grapes. There's a grape tree that produces big, like oranges shape. That is one. And then there is the crawling grape, the red grape. That is also, in fact, in terms of preference, that is number one, the red grape, because it is used to produce all this red wine and a plethora of the drinks that are also very healthy, not just one, being a harbinger of alcohol and what have you. So these grapes are natural, a deposit of God. We're talking about mineral resources in Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the most blessed countries when you talk about mineral resources. So the exploration of same and then giving it, a commensurate effort or investment. Like he actually came up with the idea that the organizations, the government offices that are supposed to defend the beautification and the economic growth of horticulture are even the one, silencing it and falling on it with all their weight, because if one rich man, so to say, within the neighborhood who just felt he needed the land annexed to that environment, he will just go to development control, Abuja environmental, and vilify the persons suffering there. The next thing you see government might, you see lorries of police, all kinds of security agencies falling on the same innocent person that is trying to develop one or two skills and even employing labor, and then they've just snuff him out as per who are you. There's this general body language that we give to people practicing horticulture as maybe they are refracts, drop out from school or something like that. And I'm sure by hearing me, You know, I am a called pastor. I know my value. Hearing me, you know, I'm also not an illiterate. And then hearing my colleague here is a botanist, and these are courses you study in higher institutions. So you don't look at the plants as a place of people who have non-entities or referrals. You know, in fact, you must be wide in educational profile to enable you handle this area of our economy. So I will use this opportunity to appeal to the general masses and the government agencies to stop vilifying this innocent one. Number one, we are bringing beauty. Do you know the ambassador of America to Nigeria has been to my garden? Do you know most of these senators and governors, when they really needed serious beautification or even economic trees, some of them have personal farms, plantain, bananas, and what have you. You know, so the enabling environment that's supposed to be produced by government and their agencies is not there. Like I told you some time ago here, a friend of we had investment in Buhari here, 10 hectares of land, 10. We brought in 2,000 plantain, 500 banana, and a lot more of coconut. As we speak, the whole investment is comatose because of Fulani herdsmen, and we are still denying that the war in Nigeria is not against Christians. And you could hear them even when I involve some elders in that place. They keep saying that tribal dichotomy and religious dichotomy is all involved. You can imagine that kind of investment. By now, we would have been talking about minimum of 100 Nigerian youths working in that farm. But everything is scattered, so the enabling environment is paralyzing our little efforts. Even me here, right here in my garden in my town, I have suffered 5 demolitions, like Benjamin mentioned. 5 demolitions within 2 years. Because when they come, they even treat it at a point. When Abuja Environmental came, you know what they were saying? We had reports, you are selling drugs here, you harbor criminals here, and they just feel, in fact, they put you as if you are the father of Satan. And God bear me witness. So those are the threats, those are the challenges.
Okay, looking at the fact that it's like this, we are seeing that there is, apart from the quality of what you produce and the impact on the society, you also are employers of labor.
Yes, reducing unemployment and reducing also insecurity. Tourism is part of it. Because you can see even white people, they drive past my garden. Must be, how is this roses? They start snapping. This is tourism, it makes them happy. Some of them still come back, move around, take pictures with their loved ones. Some come there just to have 1 or 2 meetings and things like that. So tourism is part of it, boosting the Nigerian economy, creating a lot of. There's a man, for instance, I can't remember, I can't forget. He drove past my garden and he reversed with your Yoruba sports. He said he's a prince of Igboya land, and he lived all his years in Europe. And he said, I just got a house in Asokora, and I see what you are doing here, and this your garden looks exactly like you where I'm coming from. You know, actually, the love of plants is first of all advertised by the white people, and they value so much. So now, what did he do? He said, I have given somebody to landscape my compound, but in my presence, he called the guy. He said, please stop work. All the money I've given you, take it for you, for yourself. I am bringing somebody else. He pleaded with me. I was busy. He pleaded with me. I joined him in the car.
Okay, as that one goes, I want to say that apart from this is a personal experience you're showing, and I like that. It's a personal experience, and that is the one from you. There are many others who are also having these personal experiences, and we're going to share this. It's just to help the viewer understand that it's not just a work that should be a walkover kind of. You need to put in effort to work and to ensure that such things work out well. I know that there are plants that some of them, like sometime in the past, I had had you on this program when we were talking, there are some plants that are the ornamental plants that are all around that we see along the way in these Kanape Estate and some other important places.
Most of these are exotic plants, foxtail plants, and all these exotic plants,
And
some of them are 300,000 because
that's
of
what I'm
house.
saying. That's what I wanted to ask. So, sometimes you see the cattle move along the way and they start
vandalizing them.
Yes, and it gives me serious.
They even enter our gardens.
They even, it gives pain to see such things go.
And you can't touch them, no matter how small they are.
Yes, I want to ask your colleague. I want to ask Benjamin. Looking at it, financially speaking, what do you think those products? I need to hear it from someone else. How cheap are they?
To be honest, people see plants as very cheap. That's the common perception, that plants are cheap. But from my experience, plants are not cheap. Plants can never be cheap, because considering the process of production, right from the seedlings or the propagation, with the time it grows to a mature tree that you can transplant to its permanent destination, it doesn't take less of funds. It takes a lot of money, at least for you to, I know how much it takes for you to start up just a nursery, not to talk more of, raising the plants to a level it can be sold. So those plants are not cheap, they are very expensive. But with our involvement, we've made it in a way that, Nigerians can actually afford them. If you really want to do plants, if you really want to, beautify your environment, it can be afforded.
No, but I want to find out, at those ones on the road, how much can one be?
Yeah, depending on the size, it ranges from 100 to 150 in terms of palms. And then talking about the shrubs, you talk about from 50, 100, 150. Depending on the size.
And when they are grown up, up to 3 feet and more,
that's the more the price becomes more.
I see.
Yes, because it takes a lot of time, water, nurturing, manuring for it to get to that stage. That is it.
So the price becomes small.
Yes.
Okay. Looking at all this, we will still continue, but let's take this one that is referred to as Newsbeat on this program. We'll return again.
Nigeria's money supply fell month-on-month to about 1.18 trillion in September 2025, according to the latest money and credit statistics data released by Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN). The figure represents a decline from 119.7 trillion in August, signaling a tightening of liquidity across the financial system and broader economy. Analysts warn that the contraction, while part of the CBN strategy to rein in inflation, is compounding pressure on Nigerians' purchasing power as access to cash and credit becomes increasingly restricted. The report showed declines across nearly all key components of money supply, except currency outside banks, which recorded a slight uptick. Narrow money, which includes currency in circulation and demand deposit, fell by 0.76% month-on-month to 39.1 trillion in September from 39.4 trillion in August. Similarly, quasi-money, mainly savings and time deposit, declined to 1.99% to 78.7 trillion from 80.3 trillion, further deepening the squeeze. Total credit to the economy dropped by 2.1% month-on-month to 96.7 trillion from 98.8 trillion. This decline was driven largely by a 4.4% fall in banks' credit to the private sector, which slipped to 72.5 trillion from 75.9 trillion. Reduced lending to households and businesses is constraining economic activities at time when inflation, weak wage growth, and rising living costs are released, eroding disposable incomes. The federal government has unveiled an ambitious roadmap to raise crude oil production to 3 million barrels per day and expand natural gas output to 12 billion cubic feet by 2030 in its renewed drive towards energy self-sufficiency and industrial growth. The commitment emerged from far-reaching resolution at NOG Energy Week 2025 held in Abuja, where over 6,000 energy professionals, 250 exhibitors and 125 speakers converged to chart the nation's energy future. Country Director of DMG Nigerian's Event and Portfolio Director, Energy, Wemimo Yelano, described the 2025 edition as turning point for the industry, bridging the long-standing gap between government policy and private sector execution. The discussion around Nigeria's first policy, indigenous operator capacity and technological advancement have birthed actionable strategy that will define our energy sector trajectory, Oyelano said. This platform continues to serve as a roadmap toward measurable progress in achieving energy security and economic prosperity. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Engineer Bashir Bayo Ojulari, highlighted major investment inflows and operational milestones that underscores Nigeria's renewed momentum. Nigerian attracted $17 billion in new energy investment in 2024, with projections of $30 billion by 2027 and $60 billion by 2030, Ojulari disclosed. All major crude oil pipelines achieved 100% availability in June 2025, while the AKK gas pipeline River Niger crossing was successfully completed, bringing the project closer to commissioning later this year. He added that this milestone reflects a coordinated strategy to stabilize output, restore investors' confidence, and unlock full value of Nigeria's hydrocarbon resources.
Okay, and that's it from Newsbeats, and we'll be returning here to conclude. We're going towards the end of the program. But I want Benjamin to still say something more about this thing that has to do with horticulture, the side that, I mean, talking about economic importance, the relevance. There are things you also need to tell us more about it.
Yes. You know, we only talk about the aspect of wine production. There are a lot of other departments that we've not looked at. Talking about the oil palm production.
Oil palm?
Oil palm.
Okay.
Yes, oil palm is one of the commodities we actually export.
Okay.
I think in those days it was reported that we gave Dubai or one of those countries.
Malaysia.
So I think Nigeria can still give that room again. I think the focus on oil is long overdue. We will have to digress to...
That is focus on crude oil. It's long overdue.
Yes, it's long overdue. It is time for us to look at other areas where, this economy can actually boost. And I think it would be better for us to, have that focus on horticulture, which is, very vast, because there are so many other departments. Talking about the wine production, the oil palm, the plantations, and mango production too, which can be used for juice.
We don't have such companies in this country producing such juices, apart from the chi, the one we've had that is just anyone doing something.
Yes, and most of those that we had are not in existence anymore because of the government policies, just like my brother here said. But the government policies and the enabling environment is not there for us Nigerians to actually, do those production in a good way. So I will possibly advise that the indiscriminate demolition of gardens and plant zones, nurseries, should be stopped, especially in the FCT, because it is heartbreaking that you wake up one morning and then you see that the plants you took 10 years, 15 years to nurse, trees, giant plants, are being demolished with bulldozers. It is very heartbreaking, without considering the economic value, without considering the the manpower, the resources you've put as the horticulturist to make that place what it is, and then in a twinkle of an eye it goes down, just like that. So I will use this opportunity to ask the government of the day, especially in the FCT, to look into that and make sure that these plant gardens, the horticulturists, are protected in a way that even if there is a need for such spaces to be used, it should be well communicated and then on time. You can't give a gardener 2 weeks to move his things. You can't give him 1 month to move his things. There are some of these plants that are already rooted in the soil.
Yes.
They need to be watered, and then seasons are actually going to be considered, because movement of plants will be easier for any gardener. Not that easy, but at least with the involvement of rain during the rainy season, it will be easier for any gardener to maybe take away some of the plants and then move to a position he will not be affected by any kind of demolition. Okay. So with that, I think it will be fine and better for us horticulturists.
Okay, well, with that, it will be fine and better for horticulturists. On that note, I will wrap up what we have for you today on this program. I want to thank you. I know we've not done much on it, but then at least it's better that we set it. There's another thing I'll still invite people to come over and we'll still share with this matter. And so, special thanks to you, Sampraise Itomo, for being here. And what word would you give as advice to the government, a parting word?
There is an unavoidable symbiotic relationship between man and the environment called ecosystem. That's why God himself created first the Garden of Eden before forming the first man, then his wife. So in our day, we cannot obliterate such divine ecosystem. So I will encourage the government and the environment around us to please have time to appreciate your ecosystem so that your health cannot be deteriorating. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I remember there was one particular flower they call, I think it's miracle flower. Miracle plant. But someone was saying that you don't put it inside the house. Is that true?
Not that plant inside the house, for within your compound or in vessels, so that because you can eat the leaf raw, it helps in building your blood system, immune system, and very many energy and many other plants like that.
I see.
That you don't need to be frequenting hospital.
Okay.
There are medicinal plants, there are spices and on and on, and then the wine production.
Yes, the spices, I remember the one that is called, there's one that has a female name, one of the spices, Rosemary. The day I saw that, I touched it and smelled it, it was wonderful.
Oh, we have jasmine for perfume.
Jasmine, okay.
Water your environment, and assuming there is sewage around, you plant all those like variegated gardenia, jasmine, Queen of the Night, Queen of the Day.
Thank you so much. We'll just let it be at this. I want to thank you so much. And to you, Benjamin Nwankwo, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. We'll still have you again on the program, I must say. Thanks for coming. And dear viewer, thank you for being there for me and for us, because if you were not there, we wouldn't have been able to do anything. Thank you for sharing the moments with us. Let me say special thanks to Eukarya Onyeneke. Also to Ihanyu Goji, to Okechukwu Onubogu, as well as Victor Adeyeye, Abraham that worked with Victor, Victor Chizera, as well as Felix Akinjaguna. I won't forget Ruben Okala, and of course the executive in charge, Wahid Odushile. Let me also thank Esther Abraham, my assistant, with whom I came. Okechukwu Onubogu here. And what have I got to say? May the best happen to us all the time.